Sam Altman wants to raise $7 trillion. That's not a typo. 7 trillion. To put that in perspective, that's more than the GDP of every country in the world except United States and China. And here's the kicker. Google just proved that he doesn't need it at all. So, what's really going on here? In the next 10 minutes, you'll discover why Microsoft is probably furious right now, the real reason your API costs are so high, and what Google's latest model reveals about who's lying to who. So stick around because this is gonna get very wild. Hey, I'm Edna. I've been in tech for over a decade. I've gone through promotions, layoff, and burnout, which changed everything for me. Now, I help software professionals grow their skills and work smarter with AI. Well, without the hype. So subscribe so that you won't miss out. And here's my dog, Caden, because he's cuter than the chip diagrams, Hey, quick! Do you think Altman is gonna get his $7 trillion? Comment below yes or no. Okay, let's set the scene. February 2024, Wall Street Journal drops a bombshell. Sam Altman is talking to raise $7 trillion to build AI chip manufacturing facilities. Not 7 billion, 7 trillion. For context, that's more than the entire US federal budget. That's bigger than Apple and Microsoft's market caps combined. The plan built massive chip fabrication plants to manufacture the AI chips that OpenAI needs. Because right now, NVIDIA has a monopoly. They control over 90% of AI chips. If you want to train your GPTs, you're at mercy of Jensen Huang. You pay what he charges. You wait in line like everyone else. Altman's pitch is simple. We can't achieve AGI if we're bottlenecked by chip supply. And look, on paper, it's visionary. It's thinking ahead decades. But here's where my bullshit detector starts going off. Microsoft already invested $13 billion into OpenAI. 13 billion with a B. That made Microsoft OpenAI's primary partner. They're everything. So why is Altman now suddenly going to the UAE, to other investors, pitching trillions of dollars to build his very own chip plant that would bypass Microsoft's infrastructure altogether? Either Microsoft said no, which means they don't believe in the plan, or Altman is going around them, which means there is serious tension there. Either way, that's not a strong partnership. Let's talk about why this matters to you as a software engineer. All right, let's talk about why this matters to you. If you're a software engineer, you felt this pain. You want to fine-tune a model, rate limit it. You want to spin up a training run. The GPU costs are insane. Jensen Huang has built an empire for himself. Each 100 chips sell for $30,000 to $40,000 each. GPT-4's training run, it reportedly costed about 25,000 of these GPUs. So that's about over 3,000 servers. Enough energy to power a small city. But here's the dirty secret. Training GPT-4 costs maybe $100 million once, but OpenAI has probably spent a lot more than that. Just serving your prompts. Every ChatGPT conversation costs single-digit cents. Multiply that by 200 million users, billions of conversations. You are burning hundreds of millions of dollars per year, just keeping the service online. This is why your API costs are so high. It's not price gouging. Serving these models at scale is insanely expensive. If OpenAI could cut costs in half, well, with the custom chips, why not? That's hundreds of millions saved annually. But that's the real reason for the $7 trillion. And here's the thing, companies are literally restarting the nuclear power plants to power the AI data centers. The bottleneck isn't just chips themselves, it's also the energy. These data center facilities consume gigawatts of power that has to be sustained 24/7. Okay, so here's where the story takes a turn. December 2025. While Altman's pitching his $7 trillion, Google's casually drops Gemini 2.0 Flash. And it's fast, twice as fast as GPT-4o. It outperforms it on most benchmarks, costs less to run. And here's the kicker, it's running on Google's TPUs, their own custom-made chips. They've been building this kind of since 2016. TPU stands for Tensor Processing Unit chips, designed specifically for AI, not adopted from graphics like GPUs. Google saw this coming like a decade ago. They didn't wait for NVIDIA. They didn't beg for trillions of dollars. They quietly built their own hardware, their own infrastructure, and now they're kind of reaping the rewards and are ahead. Because here's the thing, Google isn't alone. Amazon has also kind of been building their own chips, Meta as well. Every major AI player saw this coming a while ago and took the initiative to do something about it, except OpenAI. They stayed pure software and now they're scrambling and struggling to catch up. But there is another layer to this that nobody's talking about. And it might be the real reason why Altman is trying to raise $7 trillion. 90% of cutting edge semiconductors are actually built in Taiwan, but TSMC. Yes, one company on one island that China desperately wants to reunify with, by force if necessary. You see where this is going, right? If China invades Taiwan, the global chip supply doesn't just, get disrupted. It ends. No new chips, no new models. The entire AI race grind is going to come to a halt. The US government knows this. That's the CHIPS Act. That's why billions are being poured into domestic manufacturing. And that's why Altman's $7 trillion pitch makes sense. It might be about, national security, who knows? Which honestly makes the plan a little bit more credible, not less. If this is a strategic infrastructure disguised as an AI moonshot, suddenly the UAE's interest makes sense. Suddenly the scale makes sense. But if that's the real reason, then Altman's not building this for you. He's not building it to make your API calls cheaper. He's building it because our government is terrified of losing the AI power and war to China. All right, so what do you actually do with this information? Here is your playbook. First, bid on vertical integration, not open commute. Google, Microsoft, OpenAI, they're all building closed ecosystems. Learn the tools, the APIs, the infrastructure of whoever you think will win. Don't stay platform agnostic. Second, understand chip economics, even if you're pure software. If you're in ML, you need to know why training costs so much money. The engineers who can optimize for cost and performance, they're unfireable. Third, watch the energy play, not just the chip play, and learn how to solve for that. Whoever solves AI power consumption will win. If you can build models that are 10 times more efficient, man, you're going to be worth your weight in gold. Fourth, stay skeptical of timelines. Altman says, oh, well, we need $7 trillion or AI progress stalls. Okay, Google just shipped a model that proves them wrong. Otherwise, just kind of don't panic. Don't FOMO into the hype. Track what's actually being shipped. And here's the big one. If OpenAI gets this funding, API prices probably don't go down. They'll be paying off the most expensive infrastructure bet in human history. If they don't get it, they stay dependent on NVIDIA and Microsoft. Either way, you're not getting cheaper compute. You're getting better compute. So here's what I think it will happen. Altman isn't going to get his $7 trillion. That number was always absurd to begin with. But he's going to get some massive amount, from 500 billion to 1 trillion probably. Now that would come from the governments. Then OpenAI is going to build a few fabs and, as promised, but it's not enough to reduce NVIDIA's dependency. But it will by 30-40%, enough for them to negotiate better terms with NVIDIA. Meanwhile, Google is going to run with their TPUs, and along with Amazon and Microsoft, who are going to build their own custom chips. And you, the software engineer, end up needing to choose sides. You go all in one ecosystem, because that's where the best tools are. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button, comment, and also share this with a friend. I would really appreciate it. It's going to help the channel grow and show this content to others who might find it useful. I'll see you next time.